Right then, this is a quick walk around video for a quite extraordinary car really. It's a Honda CRZ 1.5 GT hybrid. 62 plates but with just 18,900 miles recorded. Full Honda service history, 9 services done each and every year. I mean, it is in remarkable condition. As I say later in the video, I mean, this is the definition of what is going to become a modern classic. There's no two ways about it. It is lovely, fitted with the optional rear spoiler, very subtle but changes the profile of the car completely. It's a bit windy today, so I hope you can hear me. The front of the car, really nice indeed. It's all really original. I saw a couple of tiny little touch-ins done over the years, but realistically it's extraordinarily clean. Near side of the vehicle, absolutely mirror smoothing panels. What a stunning design this is. Way ahead of its time in all honesty. Near side front alloy, absolutely unmarked. This side, again, just wonderfully clean. Near side rear alloy, again, absolutely lovely. There you can see that tiny little lip spoiler on the boot. It just changes the whole feel of the car in all honesty. Around the back, again, wonderfully clean. Did see a tiny, I mean, it's minuscule little dink there. I mean, I've tried to pick on anything that makes it look anything other than new. I mean, externally it is absolutely beautiful, and interior wise, you wait till you get there. I mean, it's just ridiculously clean. Offside rear alloy, unmarked. I mean, there's going to be some microscopic marks that I've not seen, but you're going to have to look incredibly hard. And for a car that's now 9 years old, that is in simply extraordinary condition. Coming to the back of the car, they've got huge boots actually, and it's been kept absolutely as new. It's got this little load liner, fabric load liner here. You go underneath there, the carpets look absolutely factory fresh. Honda, as I say in all the CRZ videos, market this as a 4-seater car. Forget that. You could, if you've put the front passenger seat forward, put a young child in the back just about, but the reality is literally just drop the seat that down and you end up with a massive boot. But I would just consider it as a 2-seater and that's it. So coming in on the passenger side, and again, I mean, it literally looks like it's rolled off the production line. The plastics, the seats, the leather work, all looks absolutely factory fresh. Coming to the driver's door card, again, absolutely unmarked. Again, all the plastic areas beautiful, as are the footwell areas. And driver's seat, again, in just stunning condition. I keep forgetting to do under the bonnet, so here we go. And this, again, just looks, every little nut and bolt. It's really hard to pick it up on the video, but that just looks brand new. So inside the car now, engines run in this section, so the dash, as always, can be seen illuminated. Dashboard looks absolutely, again, absolutely factory fresh. It's incredibly clean. And what a wonderful dash interior it is. I mean, that is the view you get as a driver, and it really is sensational. Now, the only warning light showing there, hopefully you can see, is for the low fuel. So that's obviously as soon as you put the fuel in the car, it goes out. 18,997 miles. When you got the 3 buttons there, Econ, Normal and Sport. In Econ and Normal, that's the view you get as a dashboard. When you press Sport, it turns to red, gets more serious, and looks absolutely stunning. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key are both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and one I've been looking forward to doing, I have to be honest with you. This is for a Honda CRZ, and it's the GT model, top of the range car. This particular car is registered AF62NVL, and with a unbelievable 18,990 miles on the car. Astonishing.
The reason we do all of our videos, especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone is looking online, they actually get to see the car operating, which we feel is really important, because it means we can then feed back any issues there might be with the car before you come to us, as rare and as unlikely as it might be. We just don't want to waste people's time. We also do these road tests on these lovely quiet country roads very close to our premises, and this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, so hopefully then will be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car itself, I mean, it's a real one-off, as you'll know from the adverts and hopefully the preceding walk around section when I get to do it. The fact that serviced by Honda all the way through, I can't remember now, it's 10 stamps or something, with just that mileage on the car, that's simply serviced it every year regardless, so you'd expect it to be good, and it is. Turn the key, press the power button, silently whirs into action. This is a hybrid coupe. It's no more complicated to own or drive than any normal petrol car, and the reason being is what is now referred to as kind of a self-charging hybrid. So basically, as you drive along and hit the brake pedal or back off the throttle, it charges the hybrid battery, so you can't run out of battery. You can only run out of fuel in the normal way, which brings me to my only warning light on the dashboard, which is actually for low fuel. So obviously just a smidge of fuel in there and that soon goes out. But in essence, that's all you do. Go to the petrol station, put fuel in it, drive until you need to put more in. So that's it. The way the hybrid system works is brilliant. It's typically beautifully engineered. The interaction between the hybrid and the engine is almost imperceptible. It's absolutely brilliantly done. Honda give you 3 modes that you can use for driving. On the right hand side of the steering wheel here on the binnacle, I've got Econ, Normal and Sport. The car defaults into Normal when you get into the vehicle. If I was to press Econ now, it's its most economical setting by definition. As I said, pretty much all the CRZ videos I do, I find it a bit too slow for my liking. Around town it's fine, but I just find it's just a little bit it's not the mode I'd go in. You can feel that the throttle response is completely different. So this is what constitutes rush hour around here, so I'm not used to seeing cars. But obviously it encourages more battery use and hence better economies. But even pulling away there, you've got to push the throttle down a bit harder to get the thing to go. When I had my first CRZ, I tried to sort of nanny the car to get what the manufacturer claimed in terms of fuel economy at all times, to see if I could better or exceed it. And it kind of spoiled my enjoyment of the car, if I'm honest with you. When you go into Normal, straight away things pick up. But the setting I recommend anyone go into, Sport mode, straight away, right away. The throttle response is completely different. It's instant, it's snappier. It's much nicer. You get the red hue around the rev counter, the information and the tacho in the middle there. It just changes the character of the car into something it is. This is a fun hybrid coupe that you should be enjoyed. And the difference in economy actually isn't that great. So it's disproportionate the amount of more fun you get as to how much less more fuel you use rather. But when you do put your foot down, drop it down a gear, you get that lovely kind of induction noise which you get from all Hondas. It's a wonderful 4-cylinder engine and pulls with vigour. It's a really lovely car to drive. There are no warning lights, as I said, apart from that fuel light currently on the car. Engine then feeds through into clutch and gearbox. Clutch on the car, absolutely perfect as you'd expect with such a low mileage. And the gearbox is one of Honda's greatest. I mean, they produce some of the finest manual gear changes in the world. I have a sort of inner battle as to kind of which gearbox I prefer most. The best gearbox Honda do, in my opinion, is the S2000 box. It's just a brilliant gear change. but that's got the advantage of the gear lever going straight into the box underneath. These use cables, as most do, to the engine and the gearbox in front. But what it gives you is one of the slickest, most satisfying gearboxes you'll ever use. For the moment, put your hand on the gear lever, which feels perfect in hand. It's got the leather going around the metal part of it to keep it sort of not so cold on frosty mornings. But the actual change is just simply brilliant. It's one to enjoy rather than to sort of have to use, and that feels absolutely as new. Steering of the car, really nicely done. It's beautifully weighted. It's incredibly accurate and precise. You know, point the car, goes exactly where you want it to go. Your inputs are faithfully kind of responded to. But the weighting means that it feels really secure on the road at all speeds. It doesn't get nervous like so many other cars. It also tracks absolutely dead straight, and I'm at the legal limit now, and there's no vibrations at all coming back through the steering wheel. It's all in fine order. Chassis of the car, as I say in the description of the car online, it is true. I mean, the best way to describe it to me, because of the feel of it, is it feels really light on its feet. It feels like really keen to change direction. So as soon as you do sort of slight movements of the steering wheel, the car wants to go. You don't feel as though you've got loads of weight having to be sort of transferred from side to side. And as I said, it just feels incredibly eager to change direction, and it goes through corners brilliantly. And it really reminds me of a kind of an 80s, 90s hot hatch. I've got an original CRX, of which this reminds me so much of it. Not in kind of naff marketing way, but in reality, the size, the dimensions, the ability to kind of, when you go through the corners, to just tiny inputs, really controlled as you go in, but it's really good fun. The flip side is, unlike so many of that generation, it's got a really comfortable ride as well. So if you're not in the mood, you know, it cushions you. It keeps you away from all the sort of imperfections on the road to a large degree. There's also absolutely no kind of nasty noises coming from underneath the car. There's no mechanical noises there at all. It's all in very fine order. Brakes on the car, I'm just going to hold onto my bits while I give the brakes a good shove. Really good brake pedal on the car. What I'm looking for is good initial bites, which it definitely has, but also that there shouldn't be any kind of pulsing or vibrations coming back through the brake pedal, and there are none at all. It's absolutely spot on. It's finally coming inside the car, and what a wonderful, wonderful interior in this car. And it is a matter of an opinion. I love this interior design. Others will hate it, but that's as I always say, that I think that's a really good sign of design, that it polarizes opinion and gives you something to kind of talk about. But what I love is the fact that it's a design that is functional. It's not there just for show, because it looks fantastic. The glass roof on these GT models adds so much more natural light inside the car. The colour contrast between the black dash and the silver kind of trim is absolutely fantastic on the vehicle. It works really, really well, and they are beautifully, beautifully put together cars. Everything inside the car working exactly as it should. You've got this big, simple, easy to use radio, stereo. For someone like me who's a complete dinosaur, it's fantastic to use one of those rather than a silly touch screen or something. Then you've got these lovely kind of pods either side of the steering wheel, and they're very symmetrical. And there's a few kind of throwbacks to older Hondas. This to me is very reminiscent of the S2000. These kind of symmetrical pods either side, ergonomically brilliantly done. You know exactly where all your climate controls functions are on this pod here. You've got your driving modes and your electric wing mirrors and traction control on that side there. And then in the middle, you've got this brilliant dash binnacle. Really interesting to look at, lovely to look at as well, lovely lighting on it. The centre part reminds me of a Mark I Prelude, where they had the rev counter in the middle with an information display in the middle of that. This one's got the rev counter, but with kind of this hologram speedo that you look at. It's brilliant to use. As I said, it looks fantastic, but it actually works superbly day to day when you drive the car. You don't have to think about kind of the operations that you're kind of performing on the car or the information you're wanting to take in. Steering wheel, perfect size, leather bound, feels pretty much like new to hold. Just wait here a second, let these chaps go by. It's really rare to see cars down here. I imagine there must be something going on that I'm completely unaware of. As I said at the start of the video, I mean, the point of them, as brief as they might be, is literally just to show the car operating, and also to feedback on any issues, of which, as you'd expect, there's nothing at all on the vehicle. It drives absolutely perfectly. And whoever is lucky enough, I mean, these are genuinely being seen already, talked about in the classic circles as, you know, a modern classic in the making, and we've already seen the value starting to climb fairly obviously over the last few months. It's going to be one of those where people are going to leave it too late and it's going to go mad quite soon, and this, with its mileage, ownership and history, ticks every classic box going. It's perfect in that sense.